So today we're going to be rewriting equations of hyperbolas. So if you look at these steps, they should look very familiar. First we're going to get all our x's and y's together, then we're going to get our coefficient of 1 in front, we're going to complete the square and divide by our final constant. Now these are the exact same steps as our rewriting equations of ellipses. So it's the same thing, except now we're doing it with equations that are hyperbolas. So why don't you take a second, copy these down. If you need to pause the video, but copy these 4 steps down, and then we're going to go on to an example. So if I have this example, x squared minus y squared minus 18x minus 12y minus 36 equals 0, I want to rewrite this into an equation of hyperbola. So my first step is to get all of my x's together, all of my y's. I'm going to move my constant to the other side. So I'm going to get x squared minus 18x. So I'm going to group my x's together. Then I'm going to have minus, because I have a minus in front of the y squared minus 12y, leave a space, and that's going to equal, now in order to get that 36 to the other side, I have to add 36 to the other side. So that's going to equal 36. Now, I've gotten all my x's together, I've gotten all my y's together, so my next step is now I need to complete the square. No, actually the next step is to make sure I have a 1 in front of each one of my terms. So here, I have a 1 in front of both my x squared and my y squared term. So since I have those 1s there, I know that now I can complete the square. So my steps for completing the square is the first thing I do is divide the middle term by 2, and then here I'll get x minus 9 squared minus y minus 6 squared. But since I have this minus 9 squared right there, I have to remember that I have to add 9 squared to both sides. So I have to add 81 here and add 81 here. The same thing I need to do over here with the y. Since I subtracted 6 squared here, I have to add 6 squared up there. So that means I have to add 36 and add 36. Okay, so when I add these together, what I get is 153. Oops. So I'm going to make that 153. Okay, so now my last step is, remember, in any hyperbola, I want this to equal 1. So I'm going to divide both sides by the constant. That's my last step. So what I get is x minus 9 squared over 153 minus y minus 6 squared over 153 equals 1. And this is the equation of my hyperbola. Now today all we're going to be doing is taking this equation and converting it. Tomorrow, or on Monday, what we're going to do is we're going to actually graph them. So let's look at one more example. Okay, so here I have minus 4x squared plus y squared minus 48x plus 8y minus 132 equals 0. So in our first step is we're going to get all of our x's together, all our y's, and our constants to the other side. But here, I'm looking here at this minus 4x squared, and remember for our equation of hyperbolas, we want to have that minus sign in the middle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this to the other side and write my y squared first. So what I'll write is I'll have y squared plus 8y. And now you see when I change the order, I'll now have the minus in the middle. So minus 4x squared minus 48x equals 132. Now, the next step is we want to make sure that we have a 1 in front of our x squared and our y squared. In this case, I have a 1 in front of my y squared, but I don't have 1 in front of my x squared. So I'm going to leave my y squareds alone. So it'll be y squared plus 8y minus, now what I'm going to do, remember, is factor that 4 out. So it'll be 4x squared minus 12x equals 132. Now I can complete the square just like I normally do. So here I'll divide by 2, I'll get y plus 4 squared, and then I will, since I have 4 squared there, I have to add 4 squared up here, or 16. So I'll add 16 to both sides. Then I'll subtract 4 times x minus, divide that by 2, 6 squared. So that means I'll add 36 right here. Now the problem here is that I'm going to multiply this 36 by that 4 now. But now I have this minus sign right here. So I have to do 36 times negative 4. And 36 times negative 4 gives me negative 144. So instead of adding 144 to the other side, I have to subtract 144. And then once I do that, I'll get that this equals 4. So a key step here to remember is that when you multiply this 36 by this number right here, make sure you remember about your negative sign. Do 36 times negative 4. So then you know you have to subtract 144 rather than add it, because you're multiplying by the negative. Now our last step is to divide everything by our constant, and then we get y plus 4 squared over 4 minus x minus 6 squared over 1 equals 1. And now we have our general equation of our hyperbola. So today what you're going to do is you're going to work on assignment number 17, okay? So work on assignment number 17.